The day my family disappeared without a trace. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. Detective Alvarez stares at me and says, "Your family didn't just leave, they were erased." It's 2:17 a.m. and the fluorescent lights in the missing persons office make everyone look guilty. I'm David Holt, 29, a 911 dispatcher in Columbus, the guy who tells strangers to breathe while their world burns. Tonight, I'm the one shaking, hands damp on a styrofoam cup I can't drink from. Alvarez slides a thin folder across the table. No forced entry, no note, no neighbors hearing anything. Phones went dark within minutes of each other. My mom doesn't do minutes, I say. My voice comes out too sharp. She texts good night like it's a religion. He watches me like he's listening for a lie. When did you last speak to them? Yesterday. Tessa called at 6:41 p.m. She said, "Don't freak out, but," and then my call got another line. I swallow. I thought it was my headset glitching at work. Alvarez lifts an eyebrow. "You didn't call back?" "I did. 8 times. Straight to voicemail." I yank my phone out and shove the screen toward him. Recent calls. The same number. Over and over. And then her location stopped updating at 7:03. He doesn't react, but he writes it down. "You drove to the house right after your shift." Because I know patterns, I snap. I hear them for a living. People don't vanish clean. He leans back. "Clean is what bothers me." "What do you mean erased?" My throat feels raw, like I've been screaming. Maybe I have. Alvarez opens the folder. A single photo is paper-clipped to the top. My parents' front door, taken from my own angle, doorbell camera still frame. The timestamp reads 7:12 p.m. A tall man in a baseball cap stands on our porch, face turned away, one hand raised like he's about to knock. I don't recognize him, but the porch light reflects off something in his other hand, my mom's spare key. Alvarez taps the image once. "Tell me why a stranger uses your mother's key." Then Alvarez shows me the key's engraving, and my stomach turns. Before this, my family is boring in the way I secretly love. My mom keeps the same rituals. Coffee at 6:10, the local news too loud, the back door double-locked even though our street is all retired teachers and kids on scooters. My dad pretends he hates routine, but he mows the lawn in perfect stripes every Saturday like he's painting order onto his life. Tessa, my little sister, floats between jobs and breakups, but she always shows up for dinner on Sundays, bringing some new life plan and a bag of store-brand rolls. The tension lately is small, the kind you tell yourself doesn't count. Mom nags Dad about late fees. Dad gets quiet when the mail comes and snatches envelopes before she can see them. Tessa starts asking weird questions, like whether I still have access to the family box in the garage, the one with old passports and birth certificates. Last Tuesday, I swing by after my shift, still wearing my dispatcher badge. Mom hugs me too long. "You sound tired on the phone," she says. "I sound tired because everyone's on fire," I tell her, trying to joke. Dad barely looks up from the TV. "You picked the job," he says flat. "Could have done something with weekends." That's Dad's version of love. Needling. Testing. I let it slide like I always do. Tessa corners me in the hallway. Her eyes are red, but her voice is careful. "If I ask you something, you can't tell Mom," she says. "Try me." She glances toward the kitchen like the walls have ears. "Did Dad ever sign anything for someone else? Like as a favor?" I laugh because it's ridiculous. Then she doesn't laugh back. "What did you do?" I ask. "Nothing," she says too fast. "Just be ready." Okay. At 9:14 p.m, Mom texts me, "Love you. Call tomorrow." At 10:02, Dad sends a thumbs-up emoji, which is basically a confession he stole Mom's phone. At 11:37, Tessa posts a dumb meme in our group chat, and I roll my eyes and fall asleep. The last normal sound I hear from them is Tessa's voice at 6:41 p.m. The next day, shaky and breathless, like she's running. At 6:41, Tessa whispers one word that changes everything. "Wait." I pull up to my parents' house at 12:36 a.m. The street is dead quiet, the kind that makes your headlights feel rude. Porch light is on. Curtains are half drawn, like someone left in the middle of deciding. 5 things look normal the second I step inside. The living room smells like Mom's lemon cleaner. Dad's shoes are parked by the mat, toes pointed outward like he just kicked them off. The thermostat reads 71, exactly where Mom keeps it. The hallway clock ticks too loud. A half-finished crossword sits on the coffee table, pinned still, uncapped. Then I notice the wrong things. Wrong thing 1. The TV is on, volume at 0, paused on a local news anchor mid-blink. Dad never pauses TV. He falls asleep to it like it's a blanket. Wrong thing 2. The dog's bowl is full. Our dog, June, would have eaten it and licked the ceramic clean. June doesn't come running at my footsteps. The house has the silence of a place that's been emptied, not slept in. Wrong thing 3 is the one that makes my stomach drop. The kitchen trash is gone. Not taken out, gone. The whole bin. Mom is tidy, but she's not, remove the evidence, tidy. I walk room to room calling Mom, Dad, Tessa, like saying their names can pull them back. Their phones are on the charging station in the mudroom, neatly lined up. The chargers are still warm, like they've been unplugged recently. I tap Mom's screen. No passcode prompt. It's dead. I try the back door. Locked. I check windows. Latched. No broken glass. No scuffed frame. No blood. No overturned chairs. Just absence arranged. My dispatcher brain starts cataloging. Time last known contact, health history, vehicles missing. Dad's truck is in the driveway. Mom's SUV is in the garage. Tessa's little sedan is out front, crooked like she parked in a hurry. On the fridge, a magnet holds a grocery list. Milk, eggs, coffee. And then, in Dad's blocky handwriting, drop OFF. 7:15, no police. I stare at it until the letters blur. On the counter, I find a receipt with my name and tomorrow's date. I call it in the way I teach strangers to, controlled, clear, no drama. Dispatcher, this is David Holt, badge 4412. I need officers at 18 Maple Crest. Possible missing persons. 3 adults, no contact. Saying my own address out loud feels like treason. 2 patrol cars arrive in 11 minutes. The first officer steps in, hand resting on his belt like he expects a burglar, not a family. He scans the spotless living room and his face loosens. House isn't ransacked, he says. Any history of them taking off? Arguments? No. I say too fast. My mom texts every night. My dad doesn't do mysterious. He points at the full dog bowl. Could be they went somewhere quick. And took the trash bin. I say. And left all their phones lined up like a display. He gives me the look cops give you when you're overreacting. Sometimes families cool off. Sometimes. Stop. I cut in, and I hate myself for how desperate it sounds. Read the fridge. He reads Dad's note, lips moving. His eyes tighten, just slightly. Okay, he says, finally. That's different. He calls it in. 30 minutes later, Detective Alvarez shows up in plain clothes. He doesn't ask me to calm down. He asks questions like he's building a scaffold. Last contact, he says. Tessa at 6:41. I answer. Then nothing. He walks the mudroom, frowns at the 3 dead phones. Chargers are warm, he murmurs. So someone unplugged them recently. I show him the missing trash bin. I show him the garage, both cars, keys on the hook. I show him Dad's wallet on the dresser, still stuffed with receipts and business cards. Alvarez nods once. Do you have cameras? Doorbell, I say, and I practically run to the app. My hands shake so hard I mistype my password twice. When it finally loads, my heart climbs into my throat. 7:12 p.m. A man in a cap steps onto the porch. He doesn't ring. He doesn't hesitate. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a key, Mom's spare key, the one she hides in the ceramic bird on the shelf. One of the officers exhales through his teeth. You know him? I've never seen him, I whisper. Alvarez doesn't blink. Play it again. Alvarez rewinds the footage and freezes on the cap's stitched logo. Alvarez does what cops always do first. He tries to make the story fit the simplest box. Voluntary departure, he says, like the words are a sedative. Domestic dispute. Maybe your sister convinced them to go somewhere safe. Safe doesn't look like this, I answer. I pull up Tessa's last call on my phone, because facts are the only thing keeping me from screaming. 6:41 p.m. Duration, 0:17. 17 seconds of her breathing and 1 word. I hand Alvarez my phone. Listen to the voicemail I got after. He plays it on speaker. There's a click, a hiss, and then Tessa's voice, tight. David, if you get this, don't come. The rest is swallowed by a hard, metallic pop. Like a car door slamming. Like a trunk. Someone shifts behind me. Alvarez's jaw works once. Send me that file, he says quietly. I keep digging. I log into our family's shared iPad account because Mom insists on backup everything. Location services are on. Apple Maps shows Dad's phone last at Maple Crest at 7:01. Then nothing. Mom's phone last at 7:02. Tessa's at 7:03. 3 devices, 3 minutes, like someone is counting. What would you do? I hear myself say. If your mother vanished at the exact moment her phone hits 3% battery. Alvarez looks at me. Why 3%? I flip the screen. Mom's battery last recorded 3%. That's not random. That's a timer. I open the doorbell camera event list. There's the stranger at 7:12. Then a gap. No motion alerts until 7:38. That makes no sense on our porch. Kids cut through our yard constantly. I check the settings. Someone manually disables motion detection at 7:14. Someone re-enables it at 7:37. Your family didn't leave, I say, voice shaking. Someone managed your house like a scene. Alvarez's eyes sharpen. Do you have access to their carrier accounts? Mom has a password book, I say, and I hate how easy it is to say that now. Like she isn't a person, just credentials. I find it in her nightstand. I log into the family plan. And there it is, one tower ping after the phones die. 7:28 p.m. Tessa's phone hits a cell tower near Easton. Alvarez leans in. That's miles away. I scroll one more tab. Our bank app. A withdrawal pending. $400. Timestamp 7:29 p.m. The ping isn't from our house. It's from a bank ATM camera. By morning I'm still awake, still in my dispatcher pants, still hearing phantom ringtones every time my phone vibrates. Alvarez tells me not to touch anything in the house, so I do what I'm trained to do, gather statements. Across the street, the curtains twitch before I knock. A woman opens the door with the chain still latched, eyes swollen like she's been crying or not sleeping. Can I help you? She asks. I'm David, I say. My parents and my sister are missing. Did you see anything last night around 7? Her gaze darts past me to the patrol car down the block. No, nothing. I keep my voice calm, the one I use on panicked callers. A car, voices, anyone on the porch? She shrugs, too stiff. People come and go. A man's voice from inside. Tell him what you said earlier. Her jaw tightens. She leans into the doorframe like she's holding it shut with her whole body. I didn't see nothing. I start to step back, but then she blurts, your dad's friend stopped by. I turn. Which friend? She hesitates, then says, Wade. The guy with the nice truck. He came around 7-ish. Said he was checking the alarm. My stomach sinks because Wade's helpful has always felt like a hook. He's the family friend Dad uses when something needs handling without paperwork. I walk 2 houses down to a teenager spraying soap on a car. He doesn't have the same fear. Yeah, he says. White van parked by your garage. No side windows. Like a work van. What time? I ask. 7:20 something, he says. Your dad was talking to the driver. A van doesn't fit an alarm check. A van fits moving something that doesn't want to be seen. I go back to the chain door and nod like I'm done. As I turn away, I glance up. A small doorbell camera sits above the frame. Does your camera record? I ask casually. It's broken, she says too fast. But the lens isn't cracked. It's covered, neatly, with a fresh strip of black tape. When I ask about Wade's truck, the neighbor's smile snaps like glass. The ATM ping drags me across town like a leash. I park near the vestibule and stare at the bank's glass doors, trying to make my breathing slow. If the camera worked last night, it saw a face. It saw hands. It saw whether Tessa looked scared. At 9:12 a.m. Alvarez calls. I put a request in for the bank's surveillance, he says. It'll take time. Time is what whoever did this is buying, I say. He pauses. David, don't go alone. I lie. I won't. Inside the vestibule, there's a camera in the upper left corner, angled down. I stand where the user would stand, then step aside and open the bank app again. The $400 withdrawal posts now, 7:29 p.m. ATM ID 00814. Memo, Safekeep. Safekeep. I whisper. That isn't the bank. It's a company. I search the statement for repeats. There's a charge every month. Safekeep storage $189.00. Autopay, set up 3 months ago. Not from Dad's usual account, but from a smaller checking account I didn't know existed. My mom hates storage units. She calls them renting a second junk drawer. So why is she paying for one? I drive back to Maple Crest and go straight to the garage. The family box Tessa asked about is shoved behind old paint cans. Inside are passports, birth certificates, and a folder labeled in Mom's neat handwriting. Ron. If something happens. Uncle Ron answers on the second ring. His voice is gravel and impatience. David, why are you calling me during work hours? I don't ease in. They're gone. I say. Mom, Dad, Tessa. I found a folder with your name. Silence. Then, where are you? In the garage. Don't touch anything else, he says, and I hear keys. Read me what's in the folder. It's a storage facility contract, unit number, address near the airport, payment account under Mom's current name. But the signature line makes my breath catch. Ron swears quietly. That's not her name now, he says. What do you mean? I mean your mother used that name when she was running from something, Ron says. If she's using it again, she's not just missing, she's planning. The storage unit contract is signed in my mother's maiden name, not hers. Uncle Ron meets me at the storage facility. Face tight with worry, he refuses to name. You bring Alvarez? He asks. He told me not to touch anything. I say. Ron huffs. Whoever did this already touched everything. The facility sits behind a chain-link fence near the airport. Cameras on every corner. A keypad at the gate. I punch in the code from the contract. The screen flashes access granted, and the gate slides open. Ron's eyes narrow. So she planned to get back in. We drive between rows of metal doors. Unit 214 is halfway down. The lock is new, heavy, expensive-looking, nothing like Mom's cheap brass padlock. Ron crouches. This is professional, he mutters. Not a hardware store lock. So we can't. No, he says. And you shouldn't ask me to. We stand there, stuck, until Ron tilts his chin upward. Camera, he says. The camera above our unit isn't aimed at the door. It's aimed 2 units left, like someone physically nudged it. My skin goes cold. That's how, I whisper. They control what gets recorded. Ron pulls a folded paper from his jacket. Another envelope from Mom's folder. There's more, he says. It's a gate receipt printed from the kiosk. It lists access times. 7:46 p.m. Code used. 7:51 p.m. Code used. 8:03 p.m. Code used. 3 entries after the phones die. Like the dead devices are just a curtain drop. So they dump the phones, I say, thinking out loud. Disable the porch alerts. Pull cash at an ATM. Then come here. Ron nods once. It's choreography. I step closer and notice a faint smear at the base of the door. Clear gel. Almost invisible unless you're hunting details. Something to wipe prints, to reduce friction, to make a lock swap quick. This isn't panic, I say. This is planning. Ron's phone buzzes. He looks at the screen and goes gray. We need to leave, he says. Why? Because someone just used your mother's code again, he whispers. The roll-up door sits an inch too high, and I see our missing trash bin. Ron doesn't let me touch the storage door. He grabs my sleeve and yanks me back. You want your prints on whatever they staged, he says. You want Wade pointing at you later? Why does Wade matter? I snap. Why does everyone flinch when I say him? Ron's jaw locks. Because your mother made me swear I'd never tell you. He drives straight to the county records office downtown. No detours. No explanations. Just that rigid, protective silence that means he's already decided I can't be spared anymore. At the counter, Ron taps the storage contract. Anything tied to this name, he says, pointing at Mom's maiden name. The clerk gives us a request form. Ron fills it out without hesitation. My hand shakes so badly I smear my own signature. When the file arrives, it's thinner than I expect, like the truth was compressed on purpose. Old lease. Utility hookup. A change of name petition from years ago. Then a case number stamped in red. Identity fraud. I read, voice hollow. 2008. Ron exhales like he's been holding it for 18 years. She was young, he says. She got trapped in something bigger. She took a deal. My mom. I whisper. My mom who lectures me about returning shopping carts. She testified, Ron says. She changed her name. She built a life and tried to bury the rest. I stare at the paper until the ink blurs. Mom isn't a person anymore. She's a file. Who did she testify against? I ask. Ron glances around, scanning faces like he expects one to be watching us. Then he says it low. Wade's family. My heartbeat turns sharp. So Wade's been, what, waiting? Ron nods once. Your dad thought he could keep him close. Handle him. Business. Your mother thought distance was safer. And now she thinks disappearing is the only move. I want to rage at her for lying to me my whole life. I want to defend her because she's my mother. The two feelings crash together and leave me shaking. Ron pulls one more item from the folder. A sealed envelope. Edges worn like it's been held too many times. My mother's handwriting is on the front, neat and calm. Ron slides me a sealed letter labeled, David, read only if I'm gone. I don't open the letter in the records office. Cameras, people, fluorescent light, too many witnesses. I need my mother's words to be private, at least once. Ron drives me back to my apartment and keeps checking the rearview mirror. Halfway there, a dark pickup settles behind us at every light. Same distance. Same patience. Ron makes 3 turns that don't make sense. The truck follows all 3. My mouth goes dry. Yeah, Ron says. He pulls into a gas station and parks without getting out. The pickup rolls past slowly. The driver doesn't look at us, but I see the cap through the windshield. Curved brim, stitched logo. The same logo Alvarez froze on my mom's doorbell footage. My phone buzzes. Unknown caller. Then another. Then a text from a number that isn't saved. You're good at finding things. Try finding a way to stop. Ron reads it, and his face hardens into fear he can't hide. Do not go back to the house, he says. And don't answer anything you don't recognize. At my apartment complex, he walks me to my door. The hallway is quiet. My door is cracked open. I locked it, I whisper. Ron listens, then pushes the door wider with his boot. Inside, nothing looks smashed. It looks searched. Drawers opened and reclosed. Couch cushions shifted back into place, a tidy violation that says, we can come and go whenever we want. My laptop is gone. So is the folder Ron carried from the records office. But the sealed envelope is still in my jacket pocket. I pull it out with shaking hands and find the flap already sliced clean, like someone opened it and resealed it with patience. A sticky note is pressed to the front, written in my mother's handwriting, but the letters are too sharp, too aggressive. Don't read this alone. I turn to Ron, and he's staring at my kitchen window. The blinds sway slightly, as if someone just brushed past them outside. Ron raises a finger to his lips, warning me to stay silent. My phone lights up with Mom's number, even though it's dead. My phone lights up with Mom's number, even though her phone is dead. Ron snatches it before I can answer. Put it on speaker, he says, voice low. He hits accept. Static. Then my mother's voice, too clean, like it's coming through a studio mic, David. My knees go weak anyway. Mom? Where are you? A pause, just long enough to feel engineered. You need to stop digging, she says. Go to work. Be normal. Ron leans toward my phone. Say the safe word. Silence. Then, Ron, don't make this harder. Ron's face drains. He mouths, she doesn't know it. I whisper, what's the safe word? Even though I already know something is wrong. Mom's voice sharpens. Listen to me. Don't call the police. Don't talk to Alvarez. You understand? I look at Ron. Alvarez told me. Alvarez isn't what you think, the voice cuts in. And Wade will hurt Tessa if you keep playing hero. That name hits like a punch. Let me talk to Tessa. A soft exhale, then a new voice. Tessa's, crying, muffled like a hand is over her mouth. David, please. The line clicks dead. I stand there, ears ringing, then yank open my carrier account again. The incoming call metadata shows VoIP gateway, not a cell tower. Spoofed, like the scammers I warn callers about every week. Ron paces once, then stops. I owe you the truth, he says. He tells me he didn't just know about Mom's old case. He helped her disappear the first time. He drove her across state lines, swapped plates, burned paperwork. He thought it was over until 3 months ago, when your dad started doing business with Wade's company, Safekeep. Your father borrowed money, Ron says. Not from a bank. From Wade. And Mom? I ask. Ron's eyes glisten, furious. Your dad used your mother's old name to sign. He said it was temporary. He said it was safe. My stomach turns. So you helped him? I warned him, Ron snaps. Then I did the one thing I regret. I called Wade, tried to negotiate. What did you give him? I whisper. Ron swallows. Your shift schedule. So he'd stop watching your mother's house. My hands go numb as the doorknob starts turning from the outside. Ron freezes. I grab the kitchen knife like it's going to make me brave. A key slides into the lock, smooth, confident. The door swings open and Detective Alvarez steps in, badge wallet raised. "Put it down, David," he says, eyes flicking to the blade. Ron squares up. "How did you get in?" "Manager let us," Alvarez says. "Your lock's been worked." He pulls out a tablet and turns it toward me. Hallway footage from my building, 1:06 a.m. A man in a cap bends to my door with a slim tool. When he glances up, the stitched logo flashes, an S inside a circle. "Safekeep." Alvarez swipes. Now the ATM. 7:29 p.m. Easton Branch Vestibule. A hooded figure withdraws $400. He shifts, looks up, and the camera catches his face for a heartbeat. It's my dad. My mouth goes dry. No, his truck was at home. "Exactly," Alvarez says. "He left it to sell the vanished story. Phones lined up, dog bowl full, trash bin removed. Your house was staged to look clean and confusing." Ron's voice cracks. "You're saying he did this to his own family?" "I'm saying he helped set it up," Alvarez replies. "Wade financed your father's debts. In return, your father opened accounts and signed guarantees using your mother's former identity. He taps 3 loan documents. My mother's maiden name printed at the top, but the signature is Dad's thick, slanted handwriting. That's forgery," I whisper. "It's identity fraud," Alvarez says. "And leverage. Your mother once cooperated in a case tied to Wade's family. If Wade gets her on record recanting, saying she lied, he torches that old conviction and walks people out of prison." My head spins. "So where are they?" Alvarez's jaw tightens like he hates the next part. "We traced the storage gate hits to a cloned access token. Wade has your mother's code. We got a warrant for Unit 214 at dawn." "And if he already moved them?" I ask. Alvarez holds my gaze. "Then we have hours before he makes her vanish for good." My phone vibrates again, and this time it's a pin drop on a map. The map pin drops on a motel off the airport access road, runway rest in. No message, just coordinates. Like I'm a delivery. Alvarez wants units, warrants, procedure. I want my sister. We compromise in the worst way. He calls for backup, but Ron and I go first because minutes matter, and I hate that those are my own words. The lobby smells like bleach and old coffee. A man behind the desk pretends not to see us. When I say, "I'm looking for Wade," his eyes flick left. Room numbers are answers if you know how to watch. Room 118. The curtains are drawn. I knock anyway hard. "Wade, open up." The door opens a crack, and Wade smiles like we're late to dinner. He's mid-40s, hair too perfect, polo shirt tucked in. Friendly, safe. He's always been this. Dad's buddy. The guy who fixed our gutters and slipped me $20 for gas. "David," he says warmly. "I was hoping you'd come alone." Ron steps forward. "Where's my sister and her family?" Wade's smile thins. "Ron, you're still playing hero? After last time?" My chest tightens. "Why did you spoof my mom's number?" He shrugs like I asked about the weather. "Because you answer when she calls." His eyes flick to my phone. "And because Alvarez wants you dependent on him." "Don't," I say. "I've got video of my dad at the ATM." Wade's expression doesn't change. "Of course you do. Your father is many things, but he's not stupid." He steps back, letting us see the room. A laptop open, 3 burner phones, a duffel bag, and my mother's missing trash bin in the corner like a joke. Ron's voice shakes. "Where are they?" Wade sighs, almost sad. "They're safe. Safer than they were with Richard signing their lives away." He taps the laptop. On the screen is a spreadsheet labeled Safekeep Ledger, rows of names and amounts. My dad's name is highlighted in yellow. "What do you want?" I ask. Wade leans closer, and the friendliness finally slips. "I want what your sister stole from Unit 214. She got brave. Now everyone pays." He nods toward the door. "Hand it over, and you get a reunion." A floorboard creaks behind me, and someone locks the door from the outside. I keep my voice steady, the way I do on 911 calls. "Wade, I don't have what you want." His smile goes thin. "Then you don't get what you want." The door swings open, and Alvarez steps in with 2 uniforms and a folded warrant. Wade's friendliness snaps off like a light. "Detective," Wade says, still smooth. "You're late." "Unit 214 in this room," Alvarez replies. His eyes flick to me. "David sent me the pin." Wade laughs once. "Paper doesn't matter. I have the family." My stomach drops. Where? Wade points at my phone. Trade me the ledger your sister stole. So Tessa took it. The spreadsheet on his laptop isn't just threat, it's proof. I open my sent emails and shove my screen toward Alvarez. 2:28 a.m. I forwarded loan screenshots with Mom's maiden name, the hallway still of Wade's guy, and a photo of Safekeep ledger to Alvarez's secure address while Wade stalled. Wade's eyes flare. You don't own the truth, I say, voice shaking. You just hide it. Alvarez cuffs him. Wade leans close. Gate C, row 14, he whispers. If they're still there, thank Richard. We hit the airport long-term lot fast. Alvarez reads a plate off his radio. White work van, Ohio tag KJH, 3921, matching the storage facility's overnight log. The van sits under Gate C, row 14, engine running. The driver bolts when he sees badges. The side door slides open. Mom is inside, wrists zip-tied, eyes wide. Tessa is pressed against her, trembling. Dad sits on the floor, head bowed, like shame finally weighs more than his ego. Tessa grabs my sleeve. He forged Mom's old name. She sobs. Wade said he'd erase us for real if I didn't run the ledger. Mom looks straight at me. I'm sorry I made you live in the dark, she whispers. We get them into an unmarked car, blankets, water, a medic checking them. Dad won't meet my eyes. Alvarez pulls me aside. Wade's crew won't stop. Your mother's old cooperation deal is still active. He hesitates. To keep them alive, the marshals want relocation. I swallow. So they disappear again. Alvarez slides a subpoena across the hood with my name already printed. The next 48 hours move like a bad call you can't hang up on. I sit in a federal office with beige walls and a flag that looks too clean to be real. A woman introduces herself as Deputy Marshal Green and speaks in bullet points. Your mother and sister will relocate today, she says. New phones, new names, limited contact. Safety depends on routine and silence. Mom's hands twist in her lap. David, she says, eyes shining. I never wanted this for you. I want to yell that I never wanted any of it either, that I wanted Sunday dinners and stupid memes and a mom who didn't have two names. Instead, I nod, because calm is the only thing I know how to give. In court the following week, Wade looks smaller without his smile. Alvarez lays out the timeline like a spine. 7:12 porch entry with Mom's spare key, 7:14 doorbell motion disabled, 7:29 ATM withdrawal, 7:46 storage gate access, clone token hits, then the airport van. The jury doesn't need drama. The timestamps do it for them. Dad takes a plea deal. When the judge asks if he forged my mother's identity, he says, yes. And the word lands like a funeral bell. Outside the courtroom, he tries to grab my arm. David, I was trying to fix it, he whispers. Wade was going to kill us. You didn't fix it, I say. You traded us. Ron hugs me like he's trying to keep me from splintering. I should have told you sooner, he says. I get placed on leave from dispatch for a conflict of interest. I start therapy. I start sleeping with the lights off. Some nights I still hear the silence of that staged house, and my chest tightens like a fist. If you're watching this and thinking, my family has secrets too, ask yourself, do you know where your important papers are right now? Check your credit. Back up your footage. Write down emergency passwords. Because the scariest part wasn't the vanishing. It was how easy it was to make it look normal.